Hey guys, what is up? It is Stick with Laura. I know it has been a while, but I'm finally back with another reading journal with me. Today I'm going to be doing my March reading journal with me. I did go ahead and set up some of these pages already. I used some art from Linner Designs, which I think looks really cute. And like I said, this is for March. So I did read a majority romance and thriller, and I also had some literary and dystopian in there as well. I read 6 books this month, as well as I DNF'd one, which I will be putting in my journal just because I already had the cover and stuff for it, so I figured I'd include it. And I did get like pretty far in the book. And then my average star rating was 3.58 stars. So yeah, we're gonna hop right into this. I know it's been a while. It's currently June when I'm filming this. I'm hoping to get this up in June. But I'm going to try and play catch up. In case you missed it, I have been journaling this year in this journal, and then this was my 2025 stuff, and this is my 2026 stuff. So this is my little overview page, and we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to pull a divider from Hannah's shop. The first book I read this month was actually my favorite of the month. Let me make sure my art fits, because sometimes I don't be measuring things right. Which was The Academy by Ellen Hildebrand and her daughter Shelby Cunningham. And I loved this book a lot. This is probably like the closest book to a 5 stars I had this year. I've had obviously 5 stars as well, but I really did love this book. So this is about a like private boarding school in New England, and there's a lot of characters, and you kind of just dive into all the characters, and it's so good. I'm definitely going to read the second one. I think that's coming out this year. I'm not 100% sure. But I really enjoyed this. It was kind of like Gossip Girl. But I don't know. There was a lot more different characters than in Gossip Girl, and just a lot of storylines, and usually that would confuse the hell out of me, but I really enjoyed how this was written. It was so thoroughly entertaining, and yeah, I just really liked it. Where did my book for this go? Right here. Okay. So yeah, I also have this quote that I want to include, but I just get all this fan art off Pinterest or Google. Sometimes I use the authors, if they have art on their Instagrams, I'll do that, but most of the time they don't. That went down kind of crooked, but that's fine. Let's put in this quote box. I'm trying to remember where all my stuff is because I haven't done one of these in so long. Okay, my boxes are here. I think I need to adjust that other box I put down because it's very crooked and it's gonna bother me. And this is removable paper, I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. My bad. Let's see if this fits in here. Yeah, it's better to be yourself and have no friends than to be like your friends and have no self. It's my quote. But I loved this book. This is one of my favorite books I have read this year. I have read like a good amount of books by now in June, and I've only had like 2 or 3 5 stars. 3 if you're counting a novella, 2 if you're not. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book. Honestly, I could see myself now that I'm like more into the year giving this a 5 stars. Like, I still think about this book. I thought it was so well written and good, and I just really enjoyed it. Should I put this here so I cover up that book? No, I won't. So I have that book from Planner Hannah's shop. I have these stars from Planner Face. So I'm just gonna put this down here. And then I have some school deco in gold from Hannah's shop. I do have a code at Hannah's shop. You can use Laura15 to save 15% off, or mention my name, Laura, in the notes if there's a treat week or sale, and you'll get my current freebie. But I just obviously thought this school deco was very fitting. I really, really love this book. You follow a bunch of different characters, which I really liked, and it was just like such a developed story. Like, I don't really know, like it was just, there was a lot to it, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I thought the bouginess of the school aspect was very entertaining. So yeah, I gave this book 4.5 stars. Like I said, if I read this now, I feel like I could see myself giving it 5 stars, because I still think about it and I thought it was really, really good. I'm like choking right now and need to get a drink, but I also want to put down this deco. But yeah, really, really enjoyed this book, and highly recommend it. The next book I read was The Compound by Eileen Rahl. I don't really know how to say their name. This is my dystopian book. This was about a girl who's like in her 20s and ends up on a popular reality TV show, and to win she has to outlast her housemates, competing in challenges and getting rewards or punishments. It's kind of like Love Island, The Challenge, like those shows. And I thought this was interesting. I enjoyed listening to it. I did listen to this one. I read this one. Not that that matters, but I enjoyed listening to this a lot. But the ending kind of was just like over, like it just happened and then it was over. Like there wasn't a lot to it, and I didn't really like the ending. I thought there would be more to it at the end. So I gave this, I think, 3 stars. I don't have my ratings pulled up right now, of course. But I'm pretty sure I gave this 3 stars. I'm trying to find a box that this will fit in. Maybe this. But I thought it was an interesting book. I definitely was going to read it either way, because I love Love Island, The Challenge, like those competing shows. But I just did not like the ending very much. It was just like over. And then I was like, well, I kind of needed more from that. But I did think it was entertaining. I think some people also compare it to Lord of the Flies, which I read in like Honors English 10 and don't really recall that book, if I'm being honest. Because all of high school is like a blur to me now. It was so long ago. But I don't really remember Lord of the Flies, if I'm being honest. Where did my tweezers just go? Okay. So I have this Billionaire Romance because I thought this would work, because it's like, I don't think the main character really falls in love, if I can remember correctly. Again, this was so many months ago now, because this was in March and I'm filming this in June, which is my own fault. But because it's like a Love Island game show, I figured this would work. This is a newer one of Hannah's deco sheets, and I thought it'd be really cute for this. So I got this in like a shattered gold, I believe. So I thought this would work. But yeah, this, like I said, I found it very entertaining. I'm not really into dystopian books either. But but I found this very entertaining. I just didn't really love the ending. I kind of wanted more from the ending. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on that, but it was still really good. I definitely read it fast. I was in a real reading kick at the beginning of this year. I've kind of fallen off with reading, if I'm being honest. So my May and June may be kind of lame in my reading journal, but we'll do it anyway. And honestly, it's probably a good thing because I really thought I was going to run out of space here for a sec in my reading journal because I've used so many pages this year already, so it's a good thing. My quote says, task, each boy and girl must eat a handful of grass, reward, a whistle. So that kind of gives you an inside of that book. And yeah, that's my first few pages. I'm going to color these in with my Oahu markers at the end once I actually check my ratings. So that was The Compound. The next book I read was Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. So let's see, I have quite a few things for this because there was a lot of art for this book. This was a really popular book. My husband and I buddy read this together, which I love buddy reading with him. He always has such good recs. So we buddy read this. Let's see. It's there. Just using another Plannahannah divider in her no foil. So this is about this boy and a girl who it's a story over time, like a lot of time, and they end up creating a video game tomorrow together, and it's kind of just their story. If I'm remembering correctly, I loved the book until chapter 7 or 8. I think it was chapter 7. I just hated the turn the book took. If you've read it, you know, but I'm not really going to spoil it for anyone out there. But I am like such a gamer and I really enjoyed the video game references and all that. I just despised. I don't have my quote for this. I'm going to have to find my quote for this. Or is this my quote? Yes, this is my quote. I just despise that chapter, and I think I ended up giving this 3.5 stars because I could not get over it. Jake read this book before me and was like, yeah, you're gonna hate the turn it takes. And he was so right. Did I say their game was called Tomorrow, Tomorrow, Tomorrow? Their game's called Ichigo. I think I said their game was called Tomorrow, Tomorrow, Tomorrow. Again, I did this so long ago, read these so long ago. I have terrible memory, so that's why I'm kind of flying through this, because I'm like, do you guys really want my forgotten thoughts on all these books? Probably not, but we're here with them anyway. But yeah, my husband enjoyed this. I think he gave this 4.5 stars. This is a huge quote. I covered most of that box. My quote is, what is a game? Mark said, it's tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. It's the possibility of infinite rebirth, infinite redemption. The idea that if you keep playing, you could win. No loss is permanent because nothing is permanent ever. This was a really, really moving story. It was just, I hated the turn the book took, like 3/4 the way in. I hated it. I'm not gonna say what it is because then I feel like it'll spoil it, but other shows have done that to me that I've watched. No book has ever done this to me, but other shows, I'm just using this sparkly Pixie Hollow Gamer Deco. I was using up that sheet and now I have this one. No book has ever done this to me, but I have watched shows that have done this same thing this book did, and I just despise it every time. So yeah, I enjoyed it, but I really hated the turn it took. I thought it was unnecessary, and yeah, those are my thoughts on it. It was beautifully written. I will say that. Really, really well written story, but I just couldn't get past the like chapter 7 or 8, whatever. The art I printed for this is a little too big, so it is what it is. But it's a pretty crowded spread up in here, but that is okay. That is what a book journal is for, right? To be all pretty and decked out. And I do print this art like on my own printer and sticker paper and stuff, if you are curious. I already used that. I don't want to use that again. But yeah, this was not my favorite book that I've read, but it's definitely a popular one on like Book Talk and stuff. I've seen a lot of people talk about it, so I'm glad I read it. And I love video games, and so does my husband. He's who got me into video games, so it makes sense that I read that, and I'm glad I did. So that is tomorrow. The next book I read was Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia. I don't know how to say her name either. Talia Hibbert, I think. This book I'm pretty sure I gave 3 stars. Let me pull up this deco. This had a lot of cute fan art for the couple. I think it's Chloe and Red, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, Red. So Chloe is chronically ill. She has fibromyalgia, which my sister is a PT and basically told me she's pretty sure I have that, which is great. So I could really relate to her freaking physical pain in this story. It's not something you can like, I mean, according to my sister, it's not something you can like easily get diagnosed with. It's just like a trauma response and one of those like chronic illnesses from trauma. But she comes up with 6 things on her like get a life list for her to do now that she's living on her own, and she ends up meeting this guy in her apartment building, and she has a really cute cat. I love cats in books now because I have a cat. Okay, that doesn't fit. Maybe a square. But yeah, the guy she meets is Red. He's an artist. So I have the Art Deco in Pixie Hollow. And yeah, he kind of gets her out of her shell and whatnot. This doesn't fit here either. Oh, this is annoying. I don't really know what to use. Like, will it fit in this? No. Okay, we're just gonna have to make it fit in this. Okay, we'll put this in right here. I started feeling afraid of my own body, like it was a torture treatment or I'd been trapped inside. My friend actually, I don't have many friends who recommend me books because most of my friends don't read. Or if they do read, oh, I forgot my stars here. If they do read, they read like the same books I read, like Abby Jimenez, Emily Henry, stuff like that. But my friend recommended me the second book in this series, which is, I believe, Take a Hint, Dani Brown. I thought it would be on the Goodreads page, but I can't find it. So I had that book, and so I was like, well, I might as well read them in order. So I got this book. I actually listened to it on audio first, and I did a reel on this way back when. Like I said, this was in March, so it's been a hot minute, but I did a reel about, or a TikTok or whatever, about how, like, I loved the book but hated the narrator's voice, so I ended up buying it at Barnes & Noble later this day, or whenever I was reading this. And so I just finished, I actually restarted it because I could not even understand the audiobook's voice. It was like an old woman's voice and I hated it. So I ended up restarting it and just reading it myself. And I enjoyed it. It was a 3 stars. It was just, I didn't like the spice in it, if I'm being honest. And I'm not someone who dislikes spice at all. I just don't like it when it's like not accurately placed in a book and feels forced. And this one felt a little forced. But I'm just using this Art Deco and Pixie Hollow because Red is an artist and that's a main story in the book. I would have used Cat Deco because she does save a cat from a tree, which I think is so cute. My cat loves climbing up trees, so ever since I read this book, I'm like, you're not climbing up trees, my guy, because I don't want you stuck. But I think Hannah released Cat Deco now, but she didn't have it when I was buying stuff for this reading journal spread. So I went with the Art Deco, and I think the Pixie Hollow matches quite well with the Tomorrow above it. So yeah, that is Get a Life, Chloe Brown. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I rated that 3 stars. The next book I DNF, so I'm gonna get back to. And then I did read The Locked Door by Frida McFadden, which, boy, I have a bone to pick with Frida McFadden. I feel like the last few books I've read by her have gotten so much worse. But this is a thriller. I think I don't really have a 5-star for this month, so I'm not really going to do a full page for a spread. Using another divider from Planet Hannah. Put this here. So this is about a girl who has like a locked door in her house, and she doesn't realize why the door is locked and what's happening behind those doors, behind the locked door. And there was a black cat in this story, and they don't really say what happens to the black cat, but boy, was I scared for the black cat. I have a black cat, in case you didn't know. So I was like, I could have used a picture of my own cat for this, but I didn't, because I didn't want my cat featured in this because the story was creepy and I don't like what they did to the black cat. Also, something about blue eyes, like all the victims are someone with blue eyes or something. This black cat is so cute though. But yeah, this was fine. I don't even remember what I rated this. Probably 3 stars if I'm guessing right. Used up that whole sheet. Dad says that if you're going to do something wrong, at least be smart enough not to let anybody else see you do it. And yeah, I'm kind of over, I was really into my Frida books for like a hot minute, but I've kind of gotten over them for the time being. They've just gotten so repetitive and annoying that I'm just like not really feeling them. I have like so much thriller deco foil. I just need to find a sheet in my huge collection. Okay, we'll use this, which I just had in my collection hanging around because I read so many Frida McFadden books that I just keep Thriller Deco from Planet Hannah in red, pixie red, burgundy, you name it, on deck. And it always comes in handy. So yeah, I didn't really enjoy this Frida McFadden books. And honestly, I feel like most of them are just so predictable. And as you read more, you're like, wow, these are pretty much all the same story over and over again in some capacity. And I kind of hate that. So I'm taking a break from Frida currently. But I mean, I last read one in May and it was 2 stars. And since then, I'm like checked out. So that was The Locked Door by Frida McFadden. There's like an excess sticker here. Take that off. Okay. My last book I read was Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. This was my last book at the time by Abby Jimenez that I had to read. And then The Night We Met came out in April and I read that. Or maybe it came out at the end of March and I read it in April. So we have this. I honestly don't know if I'm going to include Remarkably Bright Creatures, which is the book I DNF'd because I don't really have room. But I guess we'll see. This is such cute fan art. So this is about a girl named Vanessa and how she is basically an influencer. And her half-sister leaves her in custody of her infant daughter. And basically what happens with that, so she has a little baby to take care of, which usually stories about babies would be triggering for me, but because she didn't actually birth this baby and was just given her the baby, it wasn't as triggering for me. But yeah, she falls in love with this guy named Adrian, who, if I'm remembering correctly, yeah, is her hot lawyer next door neighbor. And he helps take the load off her plate, which is always very, very nice from a man. I love Abby Jimenez's men because they're all acts of service, and my husband is a huge acts of service man. So I very much appreciate that in a man. This like barely fits either, but we'll make it work. I don't remember how many stars I gave this one, to be honest. Where do I want to put this? Right there. This wasn't my favorite because, like I said, baby stories are kind of triggering to me. Well, I don't know if I said that, but if you follow me, you probably know that. But I obviously enjoy Abby Jimenez's writing and still thought it was a really cute story. And honestly, her last book, The Night We Met, that will probably be in my next media journal, was just so dang bad. Like, I think I gave it 4 stars. I don't think I really give Abby Jimenez books less than 4 stars, to be honest, because I just love her writing so much. But that book was pretty freaking bad. Some of the characters in that book were so dang hateable. It was so bad, which sucks because it was like my most anticipated new release of the year and I just did not like it. But this baby deco is from Hannah Shop in gold because the cover was yellow, so I figured the gold would match. So yeah, oh, I keep forgetting the stars. Classic me. I feel like I always do that. Let's put that in before I forget. I put them over there. Put that there. This here. Yeah. Okay. Put this on straight if I can. That would be preferable. But yeah, this was probably my second favorite book of the month because my first was definitely The Academy. I really, really loved that book. Okay, so that is Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. Those are all the books. Like I said, I did DNF one, but we're going to have to see if that fits because I still have a lot of things because this is a media journal, not just a book journal. I did see Project Hail Mary, which I have a lot of things for. This is probably a whole page. Yeah, this is definitely a whole page. And then I have One Piece because I watched season 1 and 2. And then I have Pocopia the game because I started playing the hell out of that. So, yeah. Yeah, I just don't see these two things fitting. This is what I had for Remarkably Bright Creatures, which I did DNF because I thought it was boring AF. I got pretty far into it, like 30-40% I'd say, and I was so bored. So I DNF'd that, which I try not to DNF books, but sometimes you just can't freaking help it. So I did see Project Hail Mary. My husband read this. I did not. He loved the book. But the movie was very entertaining. We saw it with my parents because my mom, if you don't know, worked at NASA. And she's always so realistic about these things. She's like, yeah, like, blah, 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 could never happen. Like, I mean, obviously, with this movie, a lot of stuff could never happen. But she's so funny because she, like, just has so much to say. And she just doesn't like them because they're not realistic to her, which I totally get. Because girl worked at NASA and worked on space shuttles and Hubble and weather satellites and everything for years. So I totally get it. It's just so funny because then I'm like, well, then it's a 4-star movie to me because it's not realistic. Ryan Gosling, so freaking hot in this movie. I just must say. He killed the role. But yeah, this is, I think the same people who did The Martian did this movie, maybe book, I don't know. Let me see if I have boxes for this. Put this in here. Amaze, amaze, amaze. But yeah, this is a space story about this guy who tries to save the sun and what happens along his journey along the way. Ooh, I bet I can use this for this. Grace Rocky Save Stars. Oh no, I can't use that. Okay. I guess I'll use this again. Well, I'm gonna cut it because it's too freaking small. Get my scissors out. But yeah, I always watch these like space NASA inspired movies with my mom, and then she knocks it down so many points, and then I'm like, well, now I gotta knock it down a bunch of points, you know? But it was still really entertaining, and Ryan Gosling, oh my God, was so fine in this movie. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Last I saw him was Barbie movie, and he was so annoying in that movie because he was Ken. But he was so freaking fine in this movie. So I have a lot of pictures of Ryan Gosling in this spread, if you can't tell. But I have this Shattered Hollow space deco for this movie, so I thought that would work perfectly. I'm probably going to use this whole deco sheet because I'm doing a full page spread and it needs the glitter and the glam, and all my foil deco sheets are from Plannahannah. But yeah, this was a really, really cute story. I didn't get emotional or anything, but I could see how some other people did. I'm pretty sure Jake did while reading the book. He did say he enjoyed the book a lot more, which I think is how most things tend to go when you read the book, especially if you read the book first, you pretty much enjoy it for more. I recently watched the Housemaid movie, and I also read the Housemaid book, and I thought the Housemaid book was like so predictable, and it was good. It was my first Frida McFadden book, and that's like what got me into my Frida stuff. But the movie was so much worse than the book. Like, just the details and everything, you miss a lot when you just see the movie, I feel like. So maybe eventually one day I'll read the book, or I'll gift my mom the book and then she'll buddy read it with me, because we do that too sometimes. But for now, I have just seen the movie, and it was really good. It came out this month in March of 2026. And yeah, I'm using this whole deco sheet because I feel like this spread can use it, and it looks really cute. And I love Shattered Hollow. But yeah, I don't want to like spoil the movie, so I don't want to talk too much about the art, specifically the Rocky art, but you should definitely go check out the movie. It's a good one. Unless you work at NASA, then you'll think it's unrealistic like my mom. But she still enjoyed it, I think, so yeah. Oh, and the mission they do is called Project Hail Mary, which is where they get the movie name from. Okay, the next, oh, I forgot my stars again. Okay. The next show I watched, which was a show, not a movie, and Project Hail Mary was a movie, not a show. But I did watch One Piece seasons 1 and 2 on the Netflix, which was another one of my husband's big old recs. I have lots of fan art for this. Yeah, I don't really have foil deco for this, I'm realizing. So we're gonna have to do that later, because I don't feel like figuring that out right now. I guess I could just use like generic, I need like pirate deco, man. But yeah, One Piece is about Luffy, who wants to be king of the pirates, and the crew he picks up along the way, and it's just really wholesome and cute. Jake is like all caught up with the cartoon, like up to date completely all the time with the cartoon. He watches it weekly and reads the manga weekly or whenever the hell it releases. But yeah, I love Luffy and I love Zoro. Zoro is so freaking hot in the live action. But yeah, he's very up to date with all of it. And he just basically asked if I would just watch the live action, because I'm not about to watch all thousands of episodes of the cartoon. So I said yes. I was definitely way more into Chopper comes out in season 2. I think I was way more into season 2 than season 1. But they were both really, really good. And I do see the hype. And if you don't know what One Piece is, you're just living under a rock, honestly, because it's like the biggest anime out there, I feel like, right now. Put my quote down there. Yeah, I'm gonna need some deco. I realized I never got deco for this, which is lovely because I've had months to do so. And have I done it? No. Okay, I got like a pirate font for this one because Plannahannah does let you do custom fonts. That kind of went off the box, which is my bad. If you want my treasure, you can have it. I left everything I gathered together in one place. Now you just have to find it. Okay. And like I said, I need deco for this. Let's see if I can find something RQ. I guess I can use this in Gold Stars. This is like a big old movie sheet that I never use, that I just have, and it's not really a movie, but it's a TV show, so it works, you know. And the stars are all golden, so we're just gonna go with this. I'm just gonna use a few of these big pieces and then put in the stars. Not the best I could do, but I don't really know what else I would do because she doesn't really have pirate deco, so that's probably why I didn't get any decos, because none of it sparked my interest. But yeah, this is a really, really great show. The live action's so good. I do sometimes watch the cartoon because Jake has, you know, is very caught up and has it on all the time, but it's just so much story that I just have missed out on at this point that I can't keep up with. So I don't really understand what's happening because he's like so deep and up to date with it that I just don't get it. But it is a really cute cartoon. Luffy is stretchy because he took a devil fruit called the Gum Gum fruit, and so he stretches like a rubber band. And basically everyone in the crew, Nami, Zoro, I forget the rest of their names, all of the people in the crew that he gathers have like a big dream, and they all have a big goal and aspiration, and they're all working towards that goal. Like Sanji wants to, I don't remember, something about like getting all the ingredients from one of the reefs or something. Zoro wants to be like the most skilled swordsman. The one guy, the black guy, I don't remember his name, he is just like scared of everything, so he wants to be like fearless. I honestly don't know if I'm saying all of this right. I feel like my husband doesn't watch my videos, but if he did, he'd be like, no, you're wrong. But yeah, there's just so much to the story, I feel like, that I still don't know and don't understand because I've only watched 2 seasons on Netflix live action, but that looks good enough with the gold stars. I finally have one more thing and then we'll be done. I have Pocopia, which I thought was like gonna be my game of the year, but then I got really into Tamagotchi Life, spoiler alert. But we're just gonna lay this stuff down. Pocopia came out in March and I got a Switch 2 immediately. My husband got it for me and surprised me. Like, no questions asked. He just got it for me and I was like, wow, I love you. Pocopia is like Animal Crossing mixed with Stardew Valley, mixed with Minecraft. I love Slowpoke. Let me put this in. It's only on the Switch 2. And there's like 5 different worlds you can build in. And you collect Pokemon, you make their habitats. You are Ditto yourself, and you can transform into other things and gain other abilities as you move along. If I'm being honest, I unlocked Bleak Beach and then gave up. It was so overwhelming for me. And I got really into Tamagotchi Life like really, really fast because Tamagotchi Life is just so much more simpler. So I do plan on going back to Pocopia. Like, it's an extensive game and it's really fun. It's expensive, so I need to get my money's worth, you know? I do plan on going back to Pocopia. This is way too big. Can I lift this? Yes, I can. Hallelujah. It's just a really big world, and it just overwhelmed me very, very, very fast. And I started playing Tamagotchi Life every single day shortly after this, because Tamagotchi Life released in like April, I think, right after this. They do have Slowpoke, and Slowpoke is my absolute favorite Pokemon. So I had to include this. I got this custom from Planahana's shop of the Pokopia logo with the Ditto. So I'm going to put that on. Like right there. And then I have some Pokemon foil deco in Pixie Hollow that I'm going to put on. This was actually this was on my freebie. It's actually my current freebie, but I don't know if it will still be my current freebie when this video goes out. Was a Pokopia gaming inspired freebie, because I do really love the game. It overwhelmed me so fast. If I'm being honest. So yeah, I do plan on going back to it, and it was really, really fun while I played it. I played it for like a month straight, and it was very, very fun, but I did get very overwhelmed very fast, but I 100% will go back to it, like no questions asked. It was just overwhelming AF to me. But yeah, I don't have any quotes or anything for this because it's just a game. I guess I'll put in a star rating. But that is pretty much it for my media journal. The reason why I put games and movies and TV shows is because I do count this as a media journal. So I like to document all the media I consume in the month, not just the books. So I add the games and the TV shows and the movies and stuff. I'll put in concerts if I do concerts. I haven't done a concert at all this year, but I went to a lot of concerts last year. But yeah, that's why I do the other things here at the end, because it is a media journal for me, not just a book journal. But yeah, that is Pokopia. I guess I'll put in the stars for that, which I guess I give it 4 stars. At first, I was like, this is game of the year for me, but honestly, I love Tamagotchi Life so much. I don't know if it is game of the year for me still. But that is it for my spreads. I'm going to fill out with my Wahoo markers the ratings. I have to refer to my phone, and I use my phone to film. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll flip through the final pages with you guys. Alrighty guys, if you're curious, I do use my Wahoo markers from Amazon. I have the 100 pack to fill in the stars, and I went ahead and filled in all the stars. I gave Pokopia 4 stars. I love this foil with it, and all the art is super cute for that game. I gave One Piece 4 stars. I gave Project Hail Mary 4 stars. I gave Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez 4 stars. I gave The Locked Door 3 stars. I gave Get a Life Chloe Brown 3 stars. I gave Tomorrow 3.5 stars, but I just gave it 3 in my journal. I gave The Compound 3.5 stars, but just 3 in my journal. And The Academy 4.5 stars, which is 4 in my journal. So that is it for my March setup. This is my reading highlights and my reading spreads. And then the rest of my media, which I have 1 movie, 1 TV show, and 1 game. So very diverse. And I know this went out so late, and most of this media escaped my mind by now, but I still think it looks really, really cute despite being up very late. And hopefully I can catch up here this summer with the rest of my media journal, especially because in May and June I haven't been reading as much. April will probably still be another big month, and then it might die down a little, but I ain't even mad because I don't have a lot of pages here to work with. So if I'm not consuming as much media, that's not the end of the world to me right now. So yeah, this is how everything's looking. I still need to update my front of my journal. I have it updated from like don't even know. What was the last book I put on here? Yeah, since like April. Yeah, because this is April. So May was really rough reading month for me. I just read 2 stars, so I don't really know what I'm going to put for book of the year for that one. And then the last book I have is The Surrogate Mother, which was April, I think. So I have to catch up with May and June. But like, my goal this year was 30 books, and I only put 40 down, and I'm definitely going to surpass that most likely. So I ain't rushing to read all these books anymore, if I'm being honest, because I just don't got the room. Yeah, the last I updated this was in April, and it's currently June. But that is it for my media journal with me. I hope you guys enjoyed. I do apologize this went up so late, and it may be like no longer relevant to some, but I still think it looked really cute, and I hope you enjoyed the process, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!